Good morning. It is 4:14 a.m. and I'm a little sleepy, I'm not gonna lie. We're on week number 9 of the Columbus Marathon Prep. Week number 9, we're 9 weeks in. And today the plan is to take you through exactly what I do on the mornings of my long runs. So Briley is still asleep, so I'm trying to talk quite enough, so I'm not just in here yelling. But the plan on the morning of the long runs, so today is a 2 hour and 45 minute run, and it's going to end with a marathon race pace. So what this is going to do for my legs is get used to the fatigue, and then also finishing at a pace that I'm going to race at. So finishing the run strong, not just zone 2 the entire time. So we'll see how the legs hold up. But the most important piece for me on long runs like this is making sure that I do fuel enough and ahead of time. That way, when that push at the end comes around, I'm ready to go. So I'm going to take you guys through the breakfast that I usually do whenever I'm doing long runs like this, and then the fuel for during the long run. So yeah, first I'm going to make my little bowl of oats, and we're going to mix up a coffee and get some mobility going, and I will explain why I am feeling the way I am. Got the coffee. Guess we're just having breakfast together this morning, but kind of a weird setting. I'm in my office. I just didn't want to wake up Briley while I was eating. So this is the full breakdown of what I'm eating before my long run. So if we get out the macros, this is all 327 calories. We have 70 grams of carbs, 3 grams of fat, 6 grams of protein. We have 1 scoop of Relight here. This is going to be about 800 milligrams of sodium. So 70 grams of carbs, 800 milligrams of sodium. We'll be ready to go. I'm going to eat this, drink my coffee, and then we'll be about ready to go for the long run. I don't know if this is just me, but I already cannot wait to eat until after my long run. I'm hungry, man. I'm deep in prep and I'm hung. Got my coffee here now. After last week, if you saw last week's video, I ran a half marathon, and I ran it in 1 hour and 32 minutes, which is funny. Looking back now, the goal was 1:29, and I'm not going to go through that. If you want to go watch that video, you can. But I ended up, either it was messing up my pacing or fueling, but likely my fueling. So I make mistakes as well, and that's the point. That's why we race, so we can figure out what to do right and what to do wrong, and then you can make adjustments. So that's what I'm practicing now. We have our long run today, and then next weekend I'll have a long run with a lot of tempos mixed in, so I can really practice fuel strategy, because whenever those tempos get mixed into the long run and it's a lot more intense, that's when I'm going to start experimenting with 60 grams of carbohydrates plus an hour, instead of just right now doing the one gel every 35 minutes or so. I will start experimenting with gels that have a little bit more punch to them. So like the Morton gels, I'll probably start experimenting with those next weekend, just to get more carbohydrates in, and see how I can perform with more fuel in me. So we're living. We're doing things right. We're doing things wrong. We're learning. We're pivoting. That's the point of all this. So this is the full setup for today's long run. And like I said before, since this is a lower intensity long run with a strong finish at the end, it does change my fueling strategy. So I'm not fueling with as many carbohydrates as I would if this was a full-on intense, let's say half marathon, because the intensity of the run will change my fueling strategy. I want to hammer that down. Since it is lower intensity, I don't need as much. But if it was higher intensity, I would be in the 60 to 90 grams of carbohydrates per hour. Since it's not, I'm only around the 30 gram range. And since it's over an hour and a half, that's why I'm at the 30 gram range. If it was under an hour and a half, I wouldn't do any carbohydrates at all. I would just make sure I had carbohydrates beforehand, but none during. So that's the plan. We're loaded up and we're gonna. Loaded up. I usually keep, so I have my water bottles over there on top of my car, so then I will loop back around. We live in like a little like suburb kind of style deal, and I'll always run around all these neighborhoods through town a little bit, and then I'll come back and grab one of those bottles which has 1 scoop of Relight. So I'll grab one of those at about 45 minutes to an hour in, and then I'll grab the second one at about an hour 45 to get me through the rest of the time. But I already had 1 scoop of electrolytes beforehand, so that'll get me through the beginning. And it's honestly not hot at all. It's actually kind of cold out here, which is wild. But that should get me through the rest of the run, and I should be good to go. So I have my gels right here, and it is time. So I'm probably gonna throw a podcast on. If you have any good podcast recommendations, let me know. If you have any good podcasts, let me know. But we're gonna get after this. 2 hours and 45 minutes with a marathon race pace finish. So gonna be a fun one. So it is 5:11 a.m. So we should finish around 8 o'clock. So let's get after it.
Someday on down the road, when you ask what I believe, and I'll say, you gotta take it as it goes. It doesn't get easier, dear. It's all an empty road. Fuck it and find the man of the year.
And that is wrap on the Saturday long run. We finished the run at, let me see here, 2 hours and 45 minutes on the dot, 8 minutes and 14 seconds minute per mile pace, and an average heart rate of 138. Nonetheless, 20-mile long run done. Another drop in the bucket. We're 9 weeks in. That is the 9th week. We have 7 more after this. The next 2 weekends will be pretty heavy. I know in a couple weeks I'm going to meet up with Hunter, one of my good buddies in Memphis, and do a tempo long run session, just to really start challenging ourselves about 5 weeks out from the race. I'm going to go in here, cook breakfast, and we'll wrap this up and talk a little bit more. Alright, so anyone who has watched any of the previous videos knows that when we flip the eggs, we flip for performance, alright? We don't just fuck around, okay? We flip the eggs for performance. So we're gonna take all 5 of these eggs, flip it perfectly. The time is now. Alright? Hold on, you gotta make sure it's not sticking. Ooh, it's a little wobbly. This one's gonna be tough. Y'all ready? Oh! We had a pepper fly out. And an onion, 5-second rule. Made a little bit of a mess. Bradley might be mad. Not too bad. Wow. That one might have been 4 out of 10. Not ideal. We've seen better. Oh. All right. Here we are. Final product. Saturday long run's complete, and now I am going to absolutely smash this. If you have came by for the last 9 episodes, you've seen all the ups and downs. I have quite literally posted every single thing that has happened. You've seen me fail runs. You've seen me have really good runs. You've seen me on the highs. And all the way up to last weekend, you've seen me through the lows. You've seen me not do as well on a half that I had planned out and thought everything was perfect, paces, fueling. But that's the beautiful side of this. And the reason I show every step isn't really about running itself. It really isn't. And I hope that you take that from these videos. It's more about putting yourselves in positions that you know is where you're weak at. And for me, if you go back to episode 1, 2, 3 of this prep, I said that I started doing this because I knew I was a weaker runner. And it is true. I come from a background in strength and nutrition. I've done that since I was 13 years old. So for me to come into running the last 2 years was a step that I wasn't used to. I thought that I would lose muscle. I thought that I would, all of the things that you've probably thought of if you've thought of getting into running. And I found that I loved it. Every time that it beat me down, every time that I lost, I learned something. It humbled me. It reminded me that I was human and that I was not perfect and that I was going to make mistakes. But that is the point of all of this. That is the point of all of this. If you watch these, I hope that is what you take from this, because I try to show you every piece for that reason. Because when 7 weeks does come around and we hit our goal and we finish Columbus Marathon at a time that we're proud of, you're going to be able to look back at all these videos and you're going to be able to see me fail a million times. But you're also going to be reminded that that's what was required for that to happen. That's why I always press post. So if you did have the time to sit down and watch the video today, I hope that you take that with you. I hope that if you're working towards something and you had something set you back this week, that you choose to watch what I do and keep taking steps. I hope that you choose to do that as a feeling of we're doing this together. This is something that we're tackling. It doesn't have to be running. Maybe you're in school and you're going to get your master's degree. Maybe you want to be a dentist. Maybe you're going to be a firefighter. Whatever it may be. Understand that to fail and feel like you're not enough, that is part of it. That's part of it. And when you get through that feeling at the end, eventually you'll be able to look back, and the people that are going through the same thing you are, you can be a light for them. And that's the whole point. I appreciate you guys a ton. Thank you for stopping by. This is the last 10 seconds because I'm going to eat this food, and I will see you guys on the next one, episode number 10 of the Columbus Marathon Prep.